Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. The streak is been snapped. The Aztecs fall to Colorado State in Fort Collins, 68-63. You see the guys. We made it back safely from our trip. We're about to get into everything you guys want to talk about and maybe some things you don't. Stick around. We'll see you back in just a minute.
To see two players in particular, Miles Bird and Nick Clifford.
Did you just mention with two?
Oh! Baseline out of bounds, on the floor. Bird, it's a three. Got it! If he heats up. Boise State's bouncing. Boyd's been really good tonight. Kick out. Coleman Jones. He can. Oh!
Look out.
Clifford. Clifford driving, almost lost it. Evans, step back three. They've asked a lot and he's delivered. Clifford, McKinney, a rare three, hits it, and the drought is dead.
On the offensive end.
Morton.
Oh, Bird took a shot, he's down.
Clifford got the three. Bird is hurt. Boyd, Davis, there's a bucket, that's a three. Boyd, and the clock down, shots up, quaff the rebound, put back is good, but it's too little. They get it in, and it is over. A big night in the Mountain West. Colorado State.
Sweet 16, no Fab 5 here. We got the Fab 15. Everybody contribute, getting us to the dream. Dreams become reality, reality and reign.
God, every time I hear that song, love it. Game time ready. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode, as we said, the Sons of Montezuma podcast. We are alive and well. We made it back from Colorado. Thank goodness we are out of that state, although we had a great time. Of course, you guys know, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button before we get into anything. It really helps us out here continuing to do what we do, fully independent and all that good stuff. sonsofmontezuma.com. You can save 15% off just using the promo code MONTY at checkout. Of course, I am Mateo. You can find me at Mateo San Diego. And joining me on my left and my right from East County to East Tahoe. What's going on, Mr. Mike? How are you doing, Mike?
What's up, guys? Fun trip. Got a lot done. Buc-ee's twice. Maybe the greatest brisket sandwich at a gas station in the history of the world. It was a fun trip, man. It was fun. Outside of the outcome, it was a great trip.
Buc-ee's for the win made the trip that much more special. You cannot stop me. You will help to contain him. It is SD Sports Fiend. How are you doing, Fiend?
I'm good, man. Glad to be back in a little warmer weather. It was nice when it snowed there on Saturday night. Got a little taste of cold weather, but I'm kind of over it and just ready to get back to sunshine.
The snow was nice. It was a nice change of pace. Of course, when we left San Diego, it was raining a little bit, so all good. All good.
Can we change his theme song to "Whistle" by Flo Rida?
Whistle? What do you mean whistle? Is that what stood out to you after that game? Sitting all together, nearly courtside there in Moby Arena with all the CSU alums looking at us and all the student section just wondering who is blowing the whistle.
I mean, this. Listen, here's my. I told him this. I don't look forward to it. I don't enjoy it during the game. I'm glad when it's over. But he's my friend, and I'm gonna sit next to him at the games once a year, and just kind of take it. So it's pretty impressive whistle, man.
It is. I was sitting right next to him between you guys. It was like shutting the ear in one hand, and just let her rip, Fiend, let her rip. And he had everybody breathing down our necks, 68-63. Colorado State won. Before we get into everything, guys, let's show the audience just a little snippet of our adventure to Fort Collins. It was a great trip. Of course, everybody knows the end result. We're gonna get into all your guys' questions, comments, your concerns. But let's take a little view, guys. Let's have some fun.
I got you guys on a quick trip.
No way! Break up the grito.
Yeah.
Bro,
What happened? Your whistle was working, but it just didn't work all the way.
hey man, I can't help, our free throw shooters. I put my fingers up. I can't help them moving the ball to get better shots. That's on them, I'm a little disappointed. We had a whole week to prepare for this. And this performance was not what I was expecting.
Well, we got some snow at least.
At least we got some snow.
Some snow.
I pissed off a ton of CSU students with my whistle. Hey, what more can you ask for? We had a good time.
Yeah. Until next
Didn't
time.
happen, man.
And we'll get the
Let's go.
taxi.
Terrible. Oh, look at that face. Just ready to go. Fiend. They already want to know. Everybody knows it was Fiend who was blowing the whistle. I hope you guys enjoyed just those couple minutes showing a little insight to our trip out to Fort Collins. Came back with an L, but a lot of memories, guys. I appreciate you guys for making it happen. And Mike, thank you for the socks, dude. Those socks were unbelievable.
Yes,
Yeah, thanks for those socks. So we both wore them on the way home and had to go through security with our shoes off and our faces plastered to the socks. So that was
I love that.
that was awesome.
And before we go any further, got to say a big thank you to the Rocky Mountain Aztecs group. If you guys aren't following them on Facebook, they're really active. Big shout out to Mark, Bill. What's going on, Bill, in the chat? You and your lovely wife, and of course, met so many other Aztecs from out there in the Rocky Mountain area. They made the trip, and the pregame was pretty awesome. Fiend up there on leading the I Believe chant. You were ready to. You were just looking for a fight, man. You were looking for a fight.
Yeah, I would definitely was bringing it, and I'm surprised we got out of there unscathed again. I'm sorry if I put you guys in harm's way with all my antics, but I'm going to do whatever I can to lead my guys to victory, and just wasn't meant to be. But we had a hell of a time, and it was a great trip, and I would do it again. Just one of these times we have to break this streak, this losing streak that we are on of attending these games and not coming away with a dub.
That was one of the questions a coworker had for me. He says, "What's your guys' record on these road trips right now?" It's like, dude, that was the talk at the end of the trip. We're like, do we need to keep doing these? Should we keep this up? But like you said, man, we did everything in our power. We did everything in our power to try to pull home a dub and bring it home. But like I said, thank you to everybody out there for being hospitable and making the trip just an amazing trip. Fort Collins was a cool place. Cool place. The arena's a little tiny, but it's all good. They packed it out. Of course, it was an orange out, as everybody likes to do for us. When the Aztecs are in the building, they bring their A game, and they brought it. Let's talk about this game, guys. I mean, it was a fun trip, but frustrating game again, right? It's just one of those things. No matter if we've been on a 4-game win streak, but every game was just, coming down to the wire. Either it didn't need to be, but it still did. And now that win streak is snapped. I titled the thumbnail on this video "Opportunity Missed." And I think, when you look at this game, just as a whole, just this one game, it really was a big opportunity missed. There's a lot of basketball left to be played this season, guys. February leading up into early March. But for this one game, this really could have gave some cushion, some distance between that third and fourth spot with us and the Rams. Now they split the season series. We got them at home. And it was, how do you say? It wasn't a carbon copy of that game because we handled the Rams pretty handily in that game. Miles Byrd just went absolutely off at home. And the same thing in this game. You heard the announcers on the highlights. They were comparing the two stars of each team, and it was one of those things where their star got hot. If we're looking at the box score, I mean, there's no way around it. 21 points for Nick Clifford, talented player, as we said in that first game. At home, they were just on fire. Nick Clifford, 21 points, as we said. Guys were hitting shots, but it wasn't a beautiful game as usual, right? I think we made it an ugly game. But Fiend, give us your immediate thoughts on this game, this missed opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Nick Clifford. He played a fantastic game, and it was kind of flip-flopped. Like, Bird really showed out at Viejas, had his game, and then Clifford returned the favor. And, Bird had an off game like Clifford did when Clifford played at Viejas. So, hats off to them. They played well. They really wanted it. They were locked in. They were just more aggressive than us, especially in the paint, getting to loose balls, getting to rebounds. I think that was a big, the big issue for me was it seemed like after a week of rest, you would expect these guys to be coming out hungry and refreshed and really, but they just look lethargic out there. And I mean, I don't think you can really blame the altitude. Especially when you've had a week off to kind of prepare for this. But these guys just did not look like they didn't have like that eye of the tiger look in them, and that's what was really sad. And then obviously all the free throws that we missed, the huge missed opportunity, especially the 1-and-1s. Because I think in the second half, I think we missed every single 1-and-1 until we got to the double bonus. And that was a huge difference in the game, right? We lost by 5. And we at one point we had missed like 10 free throws, I think, in a row, something like that. So that's definitely got to improve. I don't know how you improve that other than just to get in the gym and shoot more. We talked about maybe shooting a little closer, getting your confidence, and then moving back to the free throw line. Maybe those are some mind tricks that they can do to help themselves feel more confident. But yeah, definitely got to improve.
The free throws is one of the things that immediately jumps out, right? When it was a tight game, especially in the first half, we were down a little bit to start. Then we made a run, even things up, took the lead actually, and then they kind of took the lead back right before the half, and just could never really get it back in the second half. It just felt like it was back and forth, but just never really was able to establish any kind of dominance at all. Mike Goon again, a double-double, and we got to acknowledge that he has surpassed the great Skylar Spencer in blocks for a freshman season. I mean, that's a big accomplishment to do it. I don't think Skylar redshirted, right? I don't think he was a redshirt. I think he played straight 4 all the way through. So that little something to tip your cap at. But, I saw that on Twitter, Skylar giving him some love. So you got to appreciate that. Another great performance. I mean, a double-double. He's Mr. Consistent for this team right now. But It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, Mike.
No, I mean, hey, it just wasn't our night. We started out cold from shooting from outside, and we kept shooting from outside, and we just weren't making them. And then we got in a hole, and then we're trying to come back. And there's a reason we're lower in the conference in free throws attempted. We just don't. We don't drive to the hole as much as we should. I don't think. But it's tough when you have Farrow and Heidi missing those free throws, unfortunately. So, but hey, I had a great time overall.
I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing, man. I was super frustrated at the game, but knowing that there's a lot of hoops left, I mean, at this point, it's hard to explain. It really is hard to explain the up and down nature of this team. I see in the chat people are tired of hearing about the youth, rationale behind the inconsistency. I think what I kind of walk away the most frustrated about is, it wasn't like they were blown out. I don't think the crowd got to them. I mean, it was a great environment. Kudos to those fans flipping us off at the end of the game. Like, they brought it. Okay. But you just see they're so close. Even not playing their best. I don't think anybody could say they played their best in this game. They're so close. They played down to the level of competition against the Air Force, against a Wyoming. Handled Nevada, right? But just the inconsistency. It's a tough for me to pinpoint. That's for sure, guys. Fiend, I know I want to bring it up because as people like us as fans are scratching their head, it could get real easy to point fingers or to, okay, what's the cause? What's the root here? And I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's obviously everybody shares in wins and everybody shares in losses. It's a team sport. In basketball, though, it's one of the most beautiful games that it's a team sport. But at the same point in time, if you got the ball in your hand, you have a lot of power to make things happen. And one of the things I love about the sport is it really allows, okay, who's going to step up? Who's going to step up? Who's going to be the man? Who's going to take control in those crunch time minutes? And we haven't seen that. We've seen it in previous games, where Bird was struggling throughout the game. Fourth quarter, he turns it on, and he's able to dominate in those closing minutes. Boyd has had his moments, 8 assists in this game. That's very nice, very nice. Or did he have more than that? I think he had 8 points. But let's see.
No, he had 8 assists.
8 assists, 8 points. Okay, all right. 5 rebounds, all around. But just in those crunch
only
time
1
minutes,
turnover too. That's impressive.
Fantastic. As a point, that should be what you're looking for. You know what I mean? So I'm at a loss. I think there's enough to go around, whether it's the coaching or the strategy or the players' accountability themselves. But Fiend, you kind of clap back at me. Why do you feel the players shouldn't have to hold the grunt of the responsibility in their play?
Well, I mean, I think that our offensive sets teams have figured it out, and I'm not seeing a lot of variation in what we're doing. And I really expected us to throw some different wrinkles this week because we had time to work on it, right? We had the whole week to work on some new things, and it just seemed like it was the same old thing. And that's what's kind of frustrating to me because you want to see them implement like maybe a few things here and there offensively just to throw other teams off. If you just keep doing the same thing and they learn how to guard it, they're top blocking us with these dribble handoffs a lot too. Like, a top block is when defender gets between, say, Bird and the guy who's setting the screen to give that dribble handoff, and you got to go baseline. That's what they do is force you baseline. I just would like to see a lot more. Just a few, not a lot more. We don't have to be UConn, but just a few more sets. To throw the defense off, give them something that they haven't seen, and I just don't feel like we're doing that. So for me, I'm always going to put the blame more back on the coaching staff, first of all, with strategy, but also with getting these guys to play the right way. You can have a player-driven team when you have seniors and fifth-year guys who know how to play, and you don't really have to teach them. They can lead the team. When you have young guys on the team who are freshmen, who are sophomores, they don't know how to play the standard of basketball that it takes, to get a win. And so that's where the coaches got to be, just on them and, doing it encouragingly and, with guidance and things like that. But I got to say, I'm really just kind of disappointed in this game. I was really disappointed with the way that we played, both the effort, especially in the paint when it came to rebounding. We don't have any dogs on this team like that. Just get after it on the boards. Goon can because of his size, but man, I just was not seeing it from our bigs. And what did we get out rebounded? What was the rebounding margin? This is a Charmin soft. I say it every year. They're Charmin soft. They are Colorado State Charmin soft, and we let them dominate on us on the boards. That should never happen. We need some freaking dogs on this team, man. I need Farrell Compton to be a dog. I need him to not I need him to go in there with his body and size and energy and get after it. That's what I need to see. Anyway.
Give it a rest, bro.
Okay, Mike, Fiend is really, really passionate today, and I hear what he's saying about strategy and, changing some things up, adding some wrinkles and all that stuff. But notice how he diverted down into effort, into dogs, into calling out individual players. Mike, this was not the Super Bowl. We all saw the Super Bowl, right? Kansas City, Philly, absolutely taken to the woodshed. Now, I look at that score and I'm thinking, man, those coaches, boy, they really guessed wrong. They had the wrong game plan. But they didn't come out and block. So Mahomes, he took it upside the head. He took it every which way. But this game wasn't that. This game was not that. It wasn't a blowout, right? We could look at the stats and see the missed free throws. We could see the out rebounding. Those are clearly things that, okay, I mean, do you really need to coach rebounding? Do you really need to coach hitting your free throws? You're on the road, so you're already down in as far as you're back against the wall. This wasn't that, though. I agree with Fiend. He knows how I stand. Everybody's got a little weight of responsibility to carry, to shoulder the load. But when it comes down to it, like Fiend said, you need those dogs. Who's going to step up and be that dog in that closing 5-minute mark and shut the game, take the game over, do what you got to do, dive for loose balls, hustle up on D, or just take the ball and say, look, I'm putting this team on my shoulder in these last couple minutes, and we're not leaving here without a dub. I put it more on the players. That's me, though.
I don't know, man. Like it's you can only coach so much, and then the players have to do it. You know what I mean? Like I was talking to Calvin Bird, and we were talking about it's like we said, at some point you're going to get young, and this is the year that we're getting young, and you have the air of responsibility to uphold San Diego State basketball, and we got some young guys. I don't really care what anybody says, man. Youth is youth. You know what I mean? Like it is. You don't know what you don't know, and these guys are still learning, and it's late in the season, and we're not used to seeing that. So everybody's kind of disoriented, confused why it happens, because Dutch usually, his record in February is pretty good. So, you can coach the player, but until the player makes the play, I don't know how you coach that, to be honest. So I think it's a little bit of both. You can't put it on one, you can't put it on the other, but I wouldn't say that it's one individual's fault. I mean, Wayne was jumping on the floor and diving on the floor, and then Miles got hit in the face, and Wayne got hurt his leg, and JCJ got hurt. So let's not forget about that, man. So at the end of the day, this is our team. Matt and I have been there for 25 years since VA House opened. We've seen the ups and downs, and some of these newer kids don't understand what it took to get there and had to go through. And they're seeing a year since 2017, 18. That was what, 8 years ago? So you have a bad year every 8 years. I mean, it's going to happen. So I can't sit here and blame the coaches. I can't sit here and blame the players. It's a mixture of both. I know they're trying their ass off, man. But like, I think when you fall in love with the three and they're not going down, and then they're going to the hoop and build up a lead, you gotta change it up a little bit. And then, a couple shots I just wish they would have loved to follow their shots. There was 3 or 4 different shots that if they would have just followed their shot, I think they would have got the rebound. But Magoon's playing ridiculous. I mean, he is the only one in the paint. He's the only one in the paint, And so what do you do when I know JCJ likes to go on the perimeter? He was 2 of 2 and 3. So, but like we need him underneath the hoop to get rebounds. We got, if Nick Boyd's getting 5 rebounds, yeah, he's a great rebounder, but that's probably not ideal when your point guard's getting the second most rebounds on the team.
I'm gonna jump in really quick because Fiend, I do want to bounce back on that. Looking and listening to what Mike is saying. I think there comes a time in the game, right? It's a game of runs, as we like to hear the coaches say. And I think at certain points in times, like what he's saying, JCJ is out on the perimeter at times. Of course, he's battling that shoulder. I don't think he's 100% right. We made a note of that, kind of seeing some of the physical play down there. But at certain point in times, you look at 8 free throw attempts, right? And that's been a dragging thing all season. That's been a theme of not getting to the free throw line. Colorado just flat out, they shot it better all across the board. The turnovers, however, we had less than they did, but the free throws is such a stickler because you would think if you're having less turnovers, you'd have more scoring opportunities, right? Okay. Well, those times where you do take it to the rim, as Mike kind of is alluding to, and then you get to the line, the few times that you do, you don't take advantage of it. But as a coach and as a strategy, if you got a team that's not shooting the ball well, you got to take it to the rim. I mean, if it's not going in, what's the strategy behind that? It's like that's one of the things I would probably harp on is just the game time strategy, in the second half. And I think they started to, but missing the free throws, that's just always gonna, 50%. I mean, it's just gonna kick your butt every single game. I want to get into the comments in just a little bit, but anything you want to comment on what you heard from Mike say? I know we don't run the offense generally, like some people are saying in the comments, why don't we run Goon down low on the block? I mean, he's done very well, but he's not necessarily your typical low block post up offensive player, right?
Well, when I look at this team, yes, they're young, and yes, we lost a lot of experience. But yes, we beat Houston. Yes, we beat Creighton. They're talented. They're very, very talented. And that's evident. But we don't always play as a team. And we don't always come out hungry and fired up. And, that's one of the things I loved about Jaden Ledee last year is that he was just a straight dog in the paint. Yes, he could step out, hit shots from the perimeter, muscle his way, but he just cleared the boards and he was a bruiser in there, and so I just want to see you talked about it. You talked about having a Bill Laimbeer attitude, right? Like a bad boy Bill Laimbeer attitude. Did you see that in this game? We got a ton of rebounds, like offensive rebounds. We got 15 because Goon was getting in there, and he really gets in there and tries hard and grabs boards. Some of it's just because of his size and his reach and whatnot. But we only had 20 defensive rebounds. We let them get way too many second chance opportunities because we could not clear the boards, and that's been an Achilles heel for us. And that's because we got guys that are just too soft in the paint. And I'm sorry if I'm too critical about that, but we need to start getting tougher as a team. And that's what's kind of pissing me off. And you know what it's reminding me of? This reminded me of that game in 2023 when we played Nevada and AG called that team meeting and he said, look, we're not playing tough enough. This is not the standard of Aztec basketball, and after that, things changed. We need to have a mentality like that if you want to have a run to the postseason.
If not, it's going to be a rocky road to March this February because
You're
there's
going to
some
have
big
to win
games.
the tournament. You're going to have to win the conference tournament to get in.
There's some big games coming up. Big games. Oh boy, Mike, man, can we just go back to Buc-ee's and get ourselves some sandwiches, dude? It's gonna make everything better, bro. The freaking almonds and oh my god,
I'm down with that.
I mean, you know what, man? Like, it's just a fucking basketball game.
You know what?
It's just hold on, tranquilo. It's just a basketball game. You know what I loved is in the bar before meeting everybody, Fiend getting up on the table, riling everybody up, and then Colorado State fans singing their fight song back. That's what you want to have. And then, obviously, rightfully so, he was antagonizing their fans. And, it's kind of one of those things, man, as I get older, and you guys are probably going to murder me on this, but if I had to pick between live music and live sports, I'd pick live music every day of the week. Every day of the week. Because you know what? You go to a game, and half the fans are going to be upset. Half the fans are going to be happy. I feel like people want to fucking fight everybody more often than not in basketball games and football games. Obviously, the NFL is different. But like when the students at CSU are giving Andy a hard time because he's talking to the guy next to him with his kid, like, don't talk to him. It's like, man, grow the fuck up, dude. It's just a basketball game. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know we get excited. I got to see Tim Shelton. I hadn't seen him in a while since Gonzaga. And we got to meet a bunch of people. But yeah, man, like, here's my thing, man. Like, we have 8 games left. Is that right? So
something like that. Yep.
We haven't figured it out yet. Are we going to figure it out? I don't know. We have 8 games to see. We have Tuesday against San Jose State, which we need. I mean, we can't really afford to lose many. I mean, obviously, if we run the table, then it's a different story. But I don't think we're going to do that. But we need to stack some wins here, and then go into the Mountain West Conference and win 3 in a row. I'm going to hold off some other ideas until March 1st on that. But I had a good time. I enjoyed the game. I enjoy hanging out with you guys and seeing you guys and just shooting the shit and having fun and meeting people and doing different stuff. And, if we win a basketball game, we win a basketball game. We're not going to win them all. And this team is just erratic sometimes. And we're not used to seeing that. We're not used to seeing that, but we're still going to get to 20 wins, most likely. So, I know I'm going off on tangent here, but it's one of those things where in Bill Poche and his wife, they were great. And some of the other people, I can't remember their names. I apologize. But the lady and the husband with their 2 kids, and I think William and Charlotte, we met them. They were fun. But it's to me, it's the human interaction with people and meeting everybody and stuff like that and hanging out with you guys. And we just came up short, man. Like these guys are trying. Sometimes it doesn't work out, So I just think that you got to keep fighting. You got to keep battling, and come what may, and maybe they'll flip a switch and figure it out. If Magoon keeps playing the way he's doing, and you get 1 or 2 other guys that start to get hot, like Miles, we could beat anybody, and if they don't, we could lose to anybody. So I want to see how they come out against San Jose State tomorrow night, because this is a big game.
Me too.
San Jose State, we have a habit of, when we start hot, we beat the team pretty good. When we don't, we have to come back, and you're not going to come back against a Colorado State team or a Utah State or New Mexico if you can't make your free throws and stop the ball, So we were up by 4 at one point, and then, they just kept pounding us, and I wouldn't say that they wanted it more, but it was their game that night, and some of the balls went their way, and I mean, c'est la vie, man.
Oh boy. Well, I don't think anybody could agree on yesterday's halftime show. That's for sure. You talk about music and sports. I mean, boy, yesterday. I'm a fan of his, but I don't think it was for everybody had their own opinion. But I agree with you, man. There's nothing crazy about taking music over sports. Nothing crazy about that, dude.
I just love it, man. You know what I mean? Like I just I like hanging out with you guys, but to me, the vibe and the energy of a concert is unmatched. So
It's not competition.
but
Right,
and that's
right,
fine. Yeah, and but when the competition becomes fans living and dying, and I know we do that, right? But living and dying with it, and they want to like just act up and things like that. It's like, bro, it's just a basketball game. The players are gonna go out and see each other after the game. Fiend is he's a lot, bro. He's like that. How do I put this nicely?
Choose your words. Choose your
Yeah,
words.
I don't want to say it the way I want to say it. But he's a true
Say it.
fan, man. He's
No,
a true
say
fan.
it. Say it.
He's a true fan. He's like, no, I'm not gonna say it. He's
Say
like,
it.
he's like that. No, he is a super fan, and that's great, and him and Kai, and they do all that stuff, and all the guys, and Flavor Guy, and Skeleton, and stuff. But like, to me, at this point in my life, I'm like, man, I just want to go see a good basketball game, hang out with my friends, and if we win, we win. If we don't, it's not the end of the fucking world, dude. Like,
Can we at least get you to put your finger up when the Aztecs are shooting?
I don't do
free
that. I've
throws?
never done that shit, dude. Ever. I've never sat in the show.
That's why we couldn't hit free throws, man.
I did never sat in the
Yeah,
show.
help
Like,
tip
I
it
have
in.
Legos. I have Legos
Yeah,
over
help
here.
tip
I'm
it
looking
in.
at Legos. I'd love to put a Lego together.
Not enough fingers, Mike. Not enough
Yeah,
fingers.
but you got to put one up at a time. You know what I mean? Keeping up foreign relations, right? But like, to me, it's like all that stuff. I've never done that. That's never been me, But I've also never sat in the show. I've already sat in my seats that I've always had. So, but these kids are trying, man. Fuck. I mean, they're doing the best they can, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. And you get teams that are older. Like, look at the thing with Auburn. Auburn's average age is 23 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you were saying about Fall Slav, he's 22-year-old sophomore. So the COVID years are about done. I think this is probably the last year, right? So you got to get back to these kids, and like, God forbid the NCAA kids in 8th year, 7th year. It's bullshit, dude. Like 4 years, that's it, man. Red shirt, maybe, right? So I just want to see. I just want to see this team progress, and however that is whether that's in the NCAA, whether that's in the NIT, wherever it's going to be. I just want them to get better each game and progress. Because I'll tell you right now, if I have a feeling that everybody wants to come back next year, this team's going to be a fucking monster next year. So we have to kind of go through this. I think they want to play with Reese. I think they've got a season stolen from Reese that they're like, we want to play with our guy. Reese wants to play with them. Right now, there's some weird stuff that could happen, obviously. But I think I just feel it in my gut that there is I wouldn't say we're trying to get through this year, but like they're trying to learn how to play with each other. And then, you just got some teams that are older. Utah State's older. Boise State is older. New Mexico's older. You got 19-year-old kids playing against 23-year-old guys. I mean, it's that has to take a toll on it, And so when you're shooting, you fall in love with the three, you die by the three. And when we hit threes, it's like hitting in baseball. It's contagious, and we start going off. But when we're not, man, well on.
That is the beautiful thing about sports, and I will put against music. I mean, there are some similarities as far as like bands and performers. When you get to when you find your niche, or when you're in that zone of creating. But with a team environment, right? If you afford yourself the opportunity to play together, to grow together, there's levels to it, right? Every championship team, you got to take those steps. You got to learn to fly. Hopefully, like I said, you give yourself that opportunity as a team to be battle tested, and keep fighting together as brothers. Before we take that next topic and get into your guys' chat, just want to remind you guys once again, check out our online shop here at the Halfway Point. sonsofmontezuma.com, 50% off NIL, non-NIL items, and of course check out the NIL shop. Want to make sure I'm plugging this correctly. The Catapult U shirt, all proceeds goes towards the Mesa Foundation, the NIL creators for the men's and the basketball team. You guys can pick that up right now. Make sure you get that white shirt in time for senior night. Only $30, but all of it goes towards the Mesa Foundation. Only at sonsofmontezuma.com. And that's a collaboration with us, the John and Jim show on, I believe it's Extra Sports, right? 760. So they were really cool in doing that with us. So, hey, make sure you guys go do that. Fiend, let's get into some comments, man, because I know the chat's kind of overdue. We need to address some of these comments here. I'm seeing Andrew. It was good to meet you, Andrew, man. Good to see you out there. He says too much dribbling leads to turnovers. Need to spread out and pass more. I think that's probably the most of your frustration, Fiend, after the game is, you're expecting to see that ball movement at this stage of the season. We all know they're trying, but it's just something that hasn't been hammered in yet.
Yeah, I mean, I would say too much dribbling. Yes, it leads to turnovers, but it also leads to poor shot selection and missed shots. Like I was watching one of the shots that really frustrated me, the possessions, was when we had the ball and Boyd dribbled it for a while, then passed it to Bird, then he dribbled it a while, and then he stepped back 3. 18 seconds went off the clock, and 2 guys touched the ball total. And there was just no offense during, not a screen, nothing during that possession. And that's really frustrating. Then you have other possessions where Goon gets an offensive rebound, kicks it out to Bird. Bird immediately fires it over to Boyd. Boyd fires it over to BJ. Catch and shoot 3, bang, it's beautiful. Like that's team basketball, and that's how you get good shots. If the guy misses it, then that's a shame, but at least you did your part to get your teammate open. And so we got to have better ball movement and just urgency on offense when we're moving the ball. Way too much dribbling.
Here's answer 321 says, glad to spend the weekend with my uncles. Fort Collins was great, brew. Bucky's was phenomenal. Of course, that is Andy. We know who that is. We know your games. Hope to see you at Boise game. See you at the Boise game this Saturday. Yeah.
Dude, you know what's crazy too is Boise gets a bye before they play us. New Mexico gets a bye before they play us. So like you know what, man? Like it's 7 games, whatever it is left, and then you got the Mountain West, so you have 9, right? Plus whatever. But let's not forget, and I'm sure someone was, whatever they want to call it, razz me. But let's not forget that Kentucky went to the NIT, won the NIT, and then they won the national championship game the next year. I'm not saying we're Kentucky, but with younger teams, what are you gonna do when you just it's not like we're getting blown out in those games except for Oregon and Gonzaga for the most part, or New Mexico. That's 3-6. So we just had a couple unlucky bounces, and New Mexico's had lucky bounces. We've had lucky bounces, and sometimes it happens, man. So I just want to see what they come out in San Jose State. Let's see where they come out. Let's see how they play. It's kind of a dead arena because not a lot of people go there. I'm sure Big Matt Ridley will be there. But it'll be sweet to see this team mature over the next 7 games and see what they can do. Because I don't know, man. Like
they're gonna need to. They're gonna need to learn. They're gonna need to learn quick. Bill, what's going on? He says, agree with Fiend. Great rebounding is not about who jumps the highest. It's more about position and who wants the ball most. That's why Jaden was elite. He went for every rebound. Got to be determined.
I wish Chemo Ferrari was like 6'8", 230. Like that guy would just be a monster underneath the boards.
Andrew needs some AG and Mensa energy. I'm sure they're sharing the tactics, the strategies. I'm sure.
But like you guys said, we don't have that. We don't have that this year. We don't have a 5th-year Mensa. We don't have a 5th-year Jaden, that are under the hoop and stuff like that. Magoon is playing great basketball, man. He's just continuing to get better each game. And I feel like, quite frankly, he's the only one who gets to get better each game. Some guys play well and then they take a step back, and then other guys play well and they take a step back. And so, I don't know. Bucky's was great. You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, we can agree Bucky's was phenomenal.
was
Oh,
huge,
yeah, a
massive.
hoop hemorrhoid. Hoop hemorrhoid. I like that.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, hoop hemorrhoid. So
Fiend is a
Yes.
super fan to Fiend is a super
Mm.
fan to many, but a hoop hemorrhoid to SDSU.
Okay.
I
So-
get in their heads, man. I was all
I
up
know
in their
you're gonna-
heads.
You get never said you got in
Mm.
my head. Didn't love it. So I gotta get out of here a little bit early. So I apologize. My little girl doesn't feel well, so I gotta go take her to bed. So,
Yeah, you sound terrible yourself, man.
I just don't. I'm not sick. I just don't feel good. I just don't feel. It's like when you're not there. And I didn't drink yesterday. I didn't really. You're just not there. Do you know what I mean?
Dude, that first night, I felt the altitude. I felt it, man. I woke up that morning like, oh boy, it was different. It wasn't,
Dehydrated.
yeah, it was like a dehydrated type
You
of.
gotta hydrate. Gotta hydrate.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me again. Love seeing you guys. Enjoyed it. You're my brothers.
Get
Have
out of
fun.
here.
With Andy, I'm a little nervous.
I am gonna find out what you were thinking, but wouldn't say on air. So.
I'll tell you in
Then-
person in Vegas. Okay.
We'll see if he goes hard in the paint next time. We'll see if he goes hard in the paint.
I hope I have another hard in the paint, man. I would love to do that. But yeah, my wife. I'm a little scared of my wife tonight, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna go.
Handle that.
Get out.
All
Get
right.
safe.
Later, guys. Love you. Later. Bye.
Hey, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Sons of Montezuma podcast. We go live and keep it real. Fiend, not exactly the recording I think we wanted to have. Of course, after a loss, it's always tough. Always tough. But it's not as all lost, and that's I think that's the point Mike is trying to hammer home. We had a great time. I wouldn't replace it for anything. And like we said, there's plenty more left in the journey. Plenty more left in the journey. Whatever this season ends up being, it's I gotta say, man, it's a pleasure to watch this team. I mean, may not always be a win, may not always be the results that everybody wants, but the experience of watching this team grow together, it's like every game is a new chapter in this book. And like what I keep going back to, if they afford themselves the opportunity to keep playing together and keep building on what they've laid here in this young team, this foundation, they have the really chance to be something very, very special. We just hope we get to see it, we just hope we get to see them at their fullest potential. And to me, that's where the love of the game is, right there. You want to see these guys grow, you want to see them flourish and be successful. It's not like, oh, we just love a winner. Everybody loves a winner, of course, but we love this program. We love this university. This basketball program is something special. So you really want to see them grow, mature, and be successful together. So
Yeah, I mean, we love this team. Win or lose. I mean, I know I have a tendency sometimes to call people out, and it's just out of frustration, because I love this team so much and I want to see them win, and I know they really want to win. My concern is that there's been so much you see on like social media, so much talk about next year's team, right? And them coming back. And it almost gives me the impression that people are kind of giving up on this year's team.
That's why I don't even like talking about it. I don't like talking about that.
Yeah,
stuff.
there's still time left. But
Yeah.
we've seen this before where yes, we're gonna show up, you and I and the rest of Sons of Monty, like we're gonna show up to the games and the diehard fans are gonna show up to the games. But if you don't win, if you're not a winning team, I've seen attendance drop off at Viejas and people, calling it quits on a team before. And so we've been spoiled the last 4 or 5 years with just wonderful teams who have, been to the NCAA almost every year and, have just rewarded us with great play and great results. If the hope is that they turn this around and we win, let's say we go, how many we got? 9 games left. Let's say we go 8-1 or 7-2, get into the Mountain West tournament, do some damage there, and then get to the NCAAs. But if it doesn't turn out like that, I think you're going to see more and more people jumping ship at the end of the season here, which is kind of sad because I think these guys do deserve. You don't agree with me on that?
I don't know if I fully agree with that. I think pre-Final Four natty run, that was absolutely the case. I don't think this team is performing at a level that really warrants that. Of course, us as diehards, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
It would take something. It would take something a little bit more than what we're seeing here for, I think, people to quote unquote jump ship. But to a certain point, yeah. I mean, would there be a drop off? Absolutely, right? And that's normal. That happens everywhere. It's nothing unique to San Diego State or to any other program. If you're not performing, if you're not winning on a certain level, if you're not competing for conference championship, at least, you're gonna see a dip. That's normal. But to see people falling off completely, no, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I will say this. You know, listening to the Philadelphia coach after they won the Super Bowl, you know, a couple things he said really stood out to me, and I was talking with my coworkers today. You know, it comes to a point where you really you got to cut everything out. You got to put the blinders on if you're in this program, in this team. You know, as much as we love to talk about the team and the program, as passionate as we are, I mean, I hope they're not watching or caring what we have to say.
Yeah, I agree. I hope they're not watching.
I don't think that's the case at all. But you know, it really stood out to me what he was saying is, like, as a program, as a team, you got to really put the blinders on. Don't focus on what anybody outside of the program or the locker room is talking about, what you need to do or what you're not doing right, what you're doing wrong, you know, where you need to improve, yada, 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 all that noise. Cut out the noise, focus on what you got to do as a program and get better. And I mean, boy, that was like just one of the more sound performances in a Super Bowl that I've ever seen against a great team going for the third championship in a row. Of course, you know, you can say whatever they are, but that really stood out to me from that Philadelphia coach. And boy, Philly's got maybe the most passionate fan base in all of NFL. Like, these are some crazy fans. I don't think they're good fans, to be honest with you. I think they're terrible fans, but they are passionate. You know, JK saying, "Hey, you come out and boo, that means you really care." Okay, maybe you do, but there's a constructive way to go about showing how you care, you know. And if you're booing the team or anything of that nature, like, that's a Philly fan type of thing. Not gonna catch me doing it. Not gonna do it.
Yeah, not me either.
But you know, I just appreciated that coach's words, because to coach that program in Philly, you got to be thick-skinned, and you really got to just cut out the noise and just get to grinding, get better. And I hope that's what this program does. I think I feel pretty confident that's what they're doing. So, hey, we're passionate. We're gonna talk our talk, and you know, we're gonna keep doing it because that's what we do. We're Aztecs fans, but I don't see any drop off. I'm not gonna see a big drop off. I think our fans are good fans. Oh boy. All right, man. Well, San Jose State tomorrow night, right? On a Tuesday, 8:00 in San Jose. It's one of the rare times that the team they basically went to San Jose early, right after Colorado State, and you know, stayed together, watched the Super Bowl together, and didn't bother to come back home. It just didn't make any sense. So, you know, just one of those things, to another little wrinkle to add into this season. You know, and there's been a lot of different wrinkles, whether it comes to travel or whether it comes to injuries. You know, hopefully JCJ is battling back and can play a full game at 100%, but that may be an ongoing thing for the rest of the year. We'll see.
What about Wayne too? I mean, he went out. He was in a lot of pain at the end of the game, and I don't think his status has been revealed. So hopefully, you know, he's able to play as well. So, yeah.
Well, he was quoted in Ziegler's article today saying, you know, he thinks it's a good thing that they're all together. So I'm not sure if that was a quote from today or yesterday. You know, Ziegler got a chance to see him out there at Fort Collins, so I'm sure he's given the up-to-date quotes and all that stuff. But you know, McKinney was basically saying it's good for the team to be together, you know, on that road trip. Helps their chemistry be together. You know, they got to stay locked in. Is his words, gives us more time to be together, and there are no distractions like being at home. So hey, they took a L, but you know, you just hope being together through that on the road builds another little bit of character for them to come back and win that game against San Jose. And boy, took a 21-point comeback against San Jose last time at home. So this ain't no gimme.
No, I believe last year was the year that Jay Powell got the block at the very end, I think, at San Jose. Wasn't that the case?
Jay Powell, man, I remember that.
Remember that?
Yes. Yes, that
Yeah,
was
like the
huge.
game-saving block. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, anything can happen there, So, and they're not a team that we could sleep on, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Bill says, good show, guys. Got to believe something special can still happen. Mahalo. Go Aztecs. Mahalo back to you, Bill. Sergio. Terrible fans in quotes. Yeah, man. Great show. Angelica says, thank you and go Aztecs. Bill, great meeting you and your wife again. Says, got to start out hot against San Jose State. I think that's very true. There's not going to be an environment there, right? So if you don't come out hot and create your own energy, there ain't going to be no energy there. It's just not. It's going to be very dead in that gym. Woo.
Can you imagine how much my whistle would travel in that place, man? That's it. We got to go to San Jose next year.
Oh, hey, let's take a red eye. Let's go tonight. Let's go, man. You ready? Southwest. Let's do it. Call in sick, Fiend. Call in sick. Come on.
I am not ready.
Oh, man. Well, it was another travel for the books, dude. I'm glad you went. I'm glad Mike and Andy was able to go. It was a fun trip. We're looking at more Mountain West destinations we're going to make. You guys let us know in the comments after this is done. Let us know where you guys think we should go. I mean, we're probably done for trips this regular season until Las Vegas and the Mountain West tournament. I hope to see all you guys there at the Mountain West tournament. I haven't missed it in like a decade, so I'm definitely gonna be there. But let us know in the comments, where do you think we should go on our next road trip? Maybe the Pit again, maybe it's Boise, maybe it's Logan, Fiend.
I'm down for whatever, man. Wherever I go, I'm gonna piss someone off. So
everybody loves Fiend. What are you talking about?
Not all the Aztec fans love Fiend, not the opposing fans. No.
Oh, easy there. Dial it back. All right, everybody. Thank you again for joining us tonight. Make sure you guys go. I'm gonna go watch the Laker game, man. I think it's Luka's opening night, so I'm gonna go watch these boys, see if they could do anything or if they're gonna keep losing. Until next time. sonsofmontezuma.com. Make sure you guys save 15% off non-NIL gear and make sure you get that Catapult U NIL t-shirt. Just $30 and it all goes to the Mesa Foundation. I'm definitely a Mesa Foundation member. The Goonies. Woo! Another double Tuesday against San Jose, Fiend.
I hope so. Yeah, love to see it.
Gotta get him an in and out NIL, man. We gotta do it. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.